What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and things are not looking good for the Rings of Power at all. Not only are the Tolkien fans up in arms against this show, not only are we here to defend Tolkien's legacy, but it looks like some of the mainstream outlets that usually shill over things like this, they're even turning their backs on the Rings of Power. Entertainment Weekly just released this little article completely crapping all over it, and I am here to read through the article with you all and to react to it because I love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I would never trust a mainstream media outlet, and these companies have shilled for so many years, so this does not save face for them. However, I love to see it. I love to see it when even these people, the shilliest of the shills, can no longer shill because the show is just that bad. People are just, their reputations are on the line, and they're losing all credibility behind these woke nonsense movies and TV shows. And I get the sense that some of these critics in Hollywood, some of these even media outlets, they're getting tired of it. They're getting tired of the message and the SJW propaganda. But let's just go ahead and hop right into this article. The Lord of the Rings of Power, Amazon's prequel is kind of a catastrophe. There are ways to do a prequel, and The Lord of the Rings of Power does them all wrong. It takes 6 or 7 things everyone remembers from the famous movie trilogy. It adds a water tank. It makes nobody fun. It teases mysteries that aren't mysteries and sends the best character on a pointless detour. The latter is Uber Elf Galadriel, who spends the premiere telling people to worry about Sauron. In response, people tell her not to worry about Sauron. That's 1 hour down, 7 to go this season. Sound like $1 billion yet? And oh my God, talking about just coming right out the gate, firing from the hip. Entertainment Weekly hates this show. But hold on. Don't quote me on this. I may be mistaken here. Maybe my information is jumbled up in my head, but didn't Entertainment Weekly, weren't they the ones that provided us with like the #1 Rings of Power meme so far? You know, the like soap opera intro with the music and everyone going, you know, that was Entertainment Weekly, right? Hold on, were they trying to sabotage this show all along? So not only did y'all give us the most cringy promotional material, but then you go on to crap on the show afterwards, after you provided us with meme gold. Just a gold mine of memes were just packed inside of that idiotic Days of Our Lives as the world turns, trailer teaser, whatever the hell you want to call it. And now they're crapping on the show. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Maybe they were doing it all on purpose to begin with. J.R.R. Tolkien imagined Galadriel as an immortal who leaves a sun-swept garden paradise before she yearns to see the wide, unguarded lands of Middle-earth, and to rule there a realm at her own will. Kate Blanchett played her in Peter Jackson's movies as a Vulcan witch for justice. I think Kate Blanchett did an awesome job in Peter Jackson's trilogy. We actually talked about that on a prior video. You didn't have to put Galadriel in armor and make her act like a man to make you understand that she's a powerful character. When Galadriel came on screen in The Fellowship of the Ring, you just knew. You knew she was powerful. She wasn't powerful in the ways that a man you would view as a man warrior powerful, but you knew that she was more powerful than most of the characters that you'd been introduced to so far. And you didn't have to make her man spread and carry around a sword in a suit of armor to get that point across. And that's one of the things that the Rings of Power got totally wrong. That is not Galadriel. That is Galadriel that they're working with. The new Prime Video series soldiers her up on a vengeance kick. Millennia before Gollum, Galadriel is commander of the northern armies and the warrior of the wastelands. She free solos up a frozen mountain alongside an ultra mega waterfall. War claimed her brother and drenched the world in blood. She suspects vanquished Sauron still lingers and has hunted him for ageless decades. Most other elves think Sauron's gone forever. A lieutenant begs her to end the quest and to go home, because their search party is approaching a land where even sunlight fears to tread. This is not the only accidental funny line, but it is the most brazenly dumb. Mr. Elf Lieutenant, isn't the sun-scaring shadow country exactly where you should look for the wicked god monster? So they're actually picking this show apart. We don't see this that often anymore. How often do you see someone being honest? I mean, as far as like the mainstream goes. When's the last time you saw Entertainment Weekly give an honest review of anything? This is blowing my mind. Maybe the pendulum is swinging, man. It's swinging. Galadriel narrates a history lesson prologue. There is a battle montage, Mordor weirdness, then a hard cut to halfling antics. This, the precise structure that begun 2001's The Fellowship of the Ring feature. Nori Brandyfoot even looks like Elijah Wood's Frodo, all wide eyes and bushy hair. And the little Harfoot's journey begins with the arrival of a bearded outsider. Obvious references points do this show no justice. In Fellowship, Jackson cranked a trip to underground Moria into a cinematic horror action comedy rock opera with an equivalent setting appears here. It's big, bright, and bland. It is where a dwarf complains to an elf, "You missed my wedding." The mood is stilted, dull. They ride an elevator. It's like they in this article, they're even nitpicking at things that you just don't see mainstream critics nitpick at. And I'm not trying to brown nose them or kiss their ass just because they hate this show, but it's refreshing to finally see some honesty come from the mainstream. And they're even nitpicking little things, but yeah, everything just sounds bland. And when I saw every single trailer for this show, it's bland. It's like, I understand y'all spent millions on CGI and did this and did that. The world does not feel lived in. It feels too polished. I compared it to a polished turd in past videos. Despite all the streaming war headlines, this series is nothing like HBO's concurrent Game of Thrones spinoff, House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is a family drama plus dragons. The 2 Rings of Power episodes I've seen feel more like an 8-hour Infinity War with desperate goods. Oh my God, they're going full scorched earth on them. The one thread that feels new concerns Arondir and Brorin, star-crossed in a disputed land. He's an elf patrolling unruly humans who call him nasty names like knife ears. She's a single mom whose sweet chats with Arondir cause social ruckus. Tensions are generational. Arondir remembers when the locals fought for evil. Bronwyn's fellow villagers despise the occupying force left over from a conflict no human remembers. Oh my God. This show is going to be worse than I even thought. It's official. Like, it just keeps getting worse. The more and more we hear, the worse and worse it gets. I cannot believe they had the audacity to take it here. I don't think Tolkien intended his elves to seem a tad fascist. And Jackson didn't worry about casting an ensemble of British white guys or white Americans talking British. Rings of Power casually diversifies its fictional races, a casting decision that's thankfully normal in contemporary fantasy. But unlike, say, House of the Dragon, this series also briefly takes fantasy world racism seriously. Whoa, my God. We're going to be dealing with fantasy world racism in the Rings of Power. Is anyone surprised? We all knew this was going to happen because having a diverse cast is not enough. They have to preach to you in the show. Oh my God. The humans don't like Arondir. The Harfoots fear everyone else. What have elves ever done to you, Galadriel asked Jerky Hellbrand, a human running from a brutal past. So it's all going to be about racial nonsense. And don't get me wrong, the Lord of the Rings always dealt with relations between races, but it didn't beat you over the head with it. And they're going to, like modern day, beat you over the head with all of this nonsense. And I wouldn't be surprised if they focus more on that as opposed to anything else. Like the whole vocal point of the show is going to be Galadriel being a Mary Sue, and then it's going to be this forbidden interracial relationship. We all know what it's coming. Foregrounding interspecies anxiety is certainly a new Middle-earth take. I worry it won't last. Violent forces converge quickly around Arondir and Bronwyn, which means those actors get one flirty scene before the action ramps up. A dwarf-elf alliance looms. There may be bigger things to worry about than like interpersonal relationships. People keep finding a strange, scary sigil, so congratulations, Rings of Power writers. You brought Sauron to television and made him a TV serial killer? You'd think a new tale would want to explore less traveled corners of Tolkien's wide, unguarded lands. And Rings of Power does conjure the elves' previously unseen homeland, Valinor, in two embarrassing ways. First, it's a babbling brook where cute kids frolic. Then it's a heavenly light ray pouring out of parting clouds. The latter is almost like a Monty Python special effect, and that's before one person decides against the furthest stretch of fantasy logic to swim across an ocean. Otherwise, the first 2 hours stick to seen it before places and boring situations. Cliff-adjacent elves proffer blank wisdom. The same wind that seeks to blow out a fire may also cause it to spread. Nori says, Chosen One thanks. It's like there's a reason this happened. Like I was supposed to find them. Rising politician Elrond starts prepping a long-winded industrial project which will require a workforce greater than any ever assembled. Tolkien's saga was anti-industrialization, which makes it hilarious that Rings of Power is an Amazon product. Much press has swirled around the production cost, but if a budget made great TV, we'd be on a Terra Nova season 12. Showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay show no instinct for pacing. Some characters seem to teleport far distances, while others walk slowly between villages. A big sea attack looks unfinished, introducing a massive threat that's quickly forgotten. Director J.A. Bayona finds isolated moments of grandeur, but the helicopter shots get repetitive fast. The fights aren't quite up to Walking Dead level, and the battles won't make any crab feeders nervous. Frequent cuts to an explanatory map are more funny than informative. Oh my God, people. Listen, Entertainment Weekly, I can guarantee you, These people probably tried desperately to like this show. This goes against their nature to even say stuff like this. So I can only imagine that they are more forgiving than most of us will be. So if they are picking this show apart like this, imagine how we are going to feel in a few hours. What in the hell is going on? The fight scenes aren't even up to Walking Dead level? I mean, nothing against Walking Dead fans, but a lot of those fight scenes are against brainless zombies, and they're not, as intricate and cool and detailed as a fight would be between, people in Middle Earth. So it's like, it's looking to me and sounding to me like this show failed on all levels. It failed on every single level imaginable. I was thinking that, this show would be woke. The show would be garbage. Of course, they would preach to us. They would change things that weren't supposed to be changed. But I thought at the very least there would be some cool aspects. Like you could look and be like, you know what, this whole show sucks, but man, that fight scene looked good. Or man, this whole thing was garbage, but at least the CGI looked good. But it seems to me like they are just, everything. Every single aspect of this show is a failure. Amazon only made 2 episodes available to critics. Maybe things will pick up. New locations could feel less like now that's what I call Middle-earth karaoke. Owen Arthur and Sophia Namvet, the most sickening person on earth, by the way, have a sitcom couple spark as Moria marries, while Peter Mullen is a recognizable, eerie underlayers of dwarf makeup. Clark's a rising star who was unfathomably freaky in Saint Maud. She imports that film's obsessive mania to a role that, so far, mainly constitutes of the kind of random encounter duels that torment Final Fantasy players. The other characters are so lame that I was rooting for the orcs. Oh my god, they say they are rooting for the orcs to kill all of the main characters because they're so unlikable and lame. Viewers hungry for Middle-earth. Anything could be satisfied. And I guess you could argue Rings of Power is no worse than all of the other expensively empty genre adventures that have proliferated through the streaming era. But this series is a special catastrophe of ruined potential, sacrificing a glorious universe's limitless possibilities at the altar of tried and true blockbuster desperation. Grade C-. Whoa. I feel like I could have skipped that whole article and just read the end. Can I read that one more time? This series is a special catastrophe of ruined potential, sacrificing a glorious universe's limitless possibilities at the altar of tried and true blockbuster desperation. I haven't seen the show yet. Neither have many of you or most of you all. And oh my God. I'm almost at a loss for words after reading through this article. It's like everything I expected, but even worse. This sounds worse than I was expecting, and I was expecting it to be a complete dumpster fire. But I thought at the very least, because of all the money poured into it, it would be a pretty dumpster fire. You get what I'm saying? Like, maybe even visually appealing while everything else is garbage. You can at least look at it and be like, man, that's a damn good looking show. It's woke nonsense, but damn sure looks good. But no, it sounds as if the CGI isn't even good. Everything I've seen from the trailer, it doesn't look that impressive. But I mean, they say the fight scenes are garbage. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have other people out here who absolutely just eat up everything that are crapping on the show. I think Grace Randolph even said this show was garbage and that Galadriel is a Mary Sue Karen. We're going to have so much fun picking this show apart. My review will be up tomorrow. And this is not the end, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the beginning. We're going to pick this show apart. And it looks like the mainstream media might even be, or at least some of them, might even be on our side in this one. Or on this one. Why? I don't know. I don't trust it. But that Entertainment Weekly review was entertaining. Finally, I got something entertaining from a platform called Entertainment Weekly that provides very little entertainment. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.